Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. With me, your host, Owen David. It is match day. Well, kind of match day. Sort of match day. Kind of it. It's a friendly. Yes, I know it's a friendly, but you know what? During this winter break, you'll almost take anything you can get, isn't it? It's like, I don't know. I can think of, I was trying to think of some sort of analogy for it, but all the ones I can think of are either rude or disgusting or just bang out of order. So I won't go down that aisle. Alley or whatever. That's another one. I'm not going down anyone's alley. Anyway, let's focus on today. Look, yesterday was not a great day, was it? It was a pretty depressing day to be a Rangers fan yesterday. It's still more, the fact that obviously Ridvan looks like he's leaving, Borna Barisic, whatever you think of him, getting a new deal. Look, we do need a defensive overhaul. I don't think giving him a new deal is the answer, but I don't want to talk about that today because I got in enough trouble over that yesterday. Got enough hassle on social media over criticising Borna Barisic. Jesus, with some fans, you think you would criticising their own mother. Wait, the abuse you get back off some of our fans. Anyway, so look, let's obviously focus on today. We take on Hertha Berlin at 3:00 in La Manga in Spain. It is free to air on Rangers YouTube channel, which is good news. We will be doing a live stream here. So if you do want an alternative commentary and an alternative take on the game and, put your opinions and thoughts across about the team, about what's going on, then come and join me for that, guys. Just before 3:00, we will be doing a live here on the channel, talking about the game, watching the game, and focusing on what's happening with Glasgow Rangers out in La Manga. So, look, I've got no doubt in my mind that Philippe Clement is working the boys hard. It was interesting listening to what Connor Goldson had to say as well yesterday when he talked about the fact that, in his opinion, Philippe Clement was exactly what they needed. He seems to be a bit of a disciplinarian, someone who does not take any rubbish. Getting back, I think, a little bit to the old days of the Graham Souness era. When Souness came in, and he was very much a no-nonsense. It was his way or the highway, wasn't it? And that seems how it is with Philippe as well. It is his way or the highway, as Connor himself said yesterday. And I think that is the correct way to be. I think, if you're not prepared to listen to this man, then you need to take the exit door. You need to take the exit door and you need to go, because he demands the very highest standards of fitness, of play on the pitch, of talent, of work rate, of work ethic. We've seen that all season, haven't we? That he's been in place, that he demands work rate, he demands hard work. I mean, witness that game where where the game was over, yet in the 93rd minute, and he was absolutely bawling out Cyril Dessers for not chasing down a ball into the corner. He does not suffer fools gladly, I don't think, and he is certainly someone who I think is very much focused on getting this team back to where it needs to be. My one concern, obviously, going through this transfer window so far, is the fact that we have a manager who is, I think, very much success driven, very much Souness-esque in his desire to win, his desire to succeed, and even kind of a desire to get back to that everyone hates us, we don't care mentality. I think that is very much where Rangers succeed, is when we have that mentality of everyone hates us, we don't care. And look, I think it is pretty standard. Everyone does hate us. Celtic hate us, the SFA hate us, fans of other Scottish teams hate us. I think we are probably one of the most hated teams in Britain, but we don't really care, do we? As long we love the club, we love the players, we love everything about the team. So look, let's look at that. But my one worry and my one concern, guys, is, and I think you pretty much know what it is around the board. I'm not going to call out the board particularly. I'm not going to slag the board off at this moment in time. I'm going to give them till the end of the window to kind of, justify what they're doing and the policy they're taking at this moment in time. For me, I'm sure that Philippe Clement knew the circumstances when he took the job. He wouldn't have taken the job if the board hadn't been totally transparent with him about what the vision was in terms of player development, player recruitment, player development, in terms of bringing in people like Niels Koppen. Although to me, it does kind of, I don't know. when I was out last night, guys. I was out walking the dog last night, and when you're walking the dog, the thoughts go through your mind, don't they? And look, I've got enough time on I've got a lot of time on my hands at the moment. Just lost my job the other day, so pretty desperate on that situation. Not a great time to be me at the moment, guys. But look, it is what it is. But look, I was talking about the thing about the trading model. I was thinking about this trading model, and I was thinking, do the board actually understand that if they want the trading model to work, they've actually got to buy players to then develop them and sell them on, not just try and give 30-year-olds new contracts and find cheap shit off someone else's reject list and hope they can do something with them. That's not how the trading model works. That is so not how the trading model works. You cannot, if you're really, I don't know, if you're really focused on getting a trading model going, you can't do it on the cheap. It's not an easy thing to do. You know, you look at the teams in the English Premier League that work on the trading model. That's the right phrase. I don't know. Brentford, Brighton, for example. And, you know, it's pretty shocking that Rangers are talking in the same sort of sentences as Brentford and Brighton, isn't it? But, you know, they bring in players from all over the world. They develop them, they sell them on. You know, you look at Moises Caicedo, you look at, you know, players like that, guys like Alexis McAllister, they develop them and they sell them on for big profits. And that's the way we've got to be going. And I was reading on X yesterday, or Twitter, or whatever it's called these days. Adam Thornton, great. Adam Thornton's fantastic, guys. Brilliant tactician, brilliant knowledge of the game. And he was talking about Marco Bullat and Oscar Zambrano, two players that we have been linked with. And look, I'm sure we're all waiting for today for we're not interested in them kind of usual Rangers crap that comes out. But, you know, Bullat and Zambrano are perfect players for that trading model. You know, Bullat is in his early 20s. Zambrano is in his early 20s. They've both got great potential to go on and be good players. They're the sort of players, you know, you buy for £3-4 million and then you flip for 15, 16, 17, 18 million pounds. That is the way it works. That's how a trading model works. And if you look at the clubs, like I said, like Brighton, like Brentford, to a lesser extent, like Sunderland, you know, that's what they aim to do. They aim to bring in players for £3-4 million. They then aim to flip them for 15 to 20 million pounds. That's how you get a trading model going. And I'm kind of slightly concerned that the board don't seem to understand that is how you work a trading model. I might be 100% wrong. You know, look, the concerns that I have about this board, and there are a couple of concerns I have, and I want to just kind of talk to you about them here. And I'm not saying that they're awful. I'm not slagging them off and saying that this is the end of it and they need to go. What I'm doing is trying to, and I'm getting to the point now where I'm trying to be so careful what I say due to the abuse that you get from even from our own fans. I think some of our own fans beginning to think about what they write and what they say. But look, my worry about Bennett and Bisgrove is this. John Bennett was the vice chairman to Douglas Park. He was part of the board that was worked with Stuart Robertson, worked with Douglas Park, that after 55 didn't take advantage of where we stood after 55. You know, the fact that we had them on the canvas, we had our foot on their throats and we allowed them to get up. We allowed them to come back at us. We never, ever, what was it? They said, we fix the roof while the sun is shining. We didn't do that. You know, we didn't allow Stephen Gerrard to invest, to bring in players. We didn't invest in that squad, develop that squad, which is what we should have done post 55. You know, that it's so much easier when you're at the top to rebuild and to bring in new players and to work with what you've got and to you know, to look at moving this team on. And if you look at Philippe Clement's past history, that's what he's done at Bruges. You know, every season he's kind of refreshed the squad, 2 or 3 players, you know, kept the squad fresh. And that's the way you get continued success. Pep Guardiola does it at Manchester City. Jurgen Klopp has done it at Liverpool. Alex Ferguson, when he was Manchester United manager, that's what he did as well. That's the way of success. And the board back then with Park and the absolutely hopeless Stuart Robertson, you know, just did not do that. And John Bennett was part of that. And John Bennett was part of the board that appointed Michael Beale. John Bennett was part of all that. So that's one slight concern. I understand that he's a Rangers fan. I get that he's a Rangers man. But he does carry that past baggage. And whether we like it or not, our past histories, our past baggage is always with us, isn't it? It's always there. And as much as we might want to put the past behind us and move on, it will always kind of be on our backs, won't it? So I think that's something that Bennett has to do. Bisgrove, for me, at the moment, he's the one worry I have about James Bisgrove is he's a lot of what's that saying that people come out with? Fur coat and no knickers. He's a lot of style but no substance. James Bisgrove is very much in that modern era of executives, isn't he? That he's very much all mouth and no trousers. That's how he is at the moment. And I think Bisgrove needs to start putting a bit of substance behind what he's doing rather than just do it. He to me he's fannying around the edges far too much in terms of, you know, Edmiston House, which is great, the sports bar, great, the lounge, the restaurants, the Gordon Ramsay thing, all great, all fantastic. But where is the putting the product on the field? At the end of the day, you can get all the infrastructure off the field correct. You can increase the seating capacity. You can make the stadium have the best disabled facilities in Europe. You can, you know, improve Edmiston House and the supporter experience. But at the end of the day, what improves this supporter experience more than anything else is the product that's on the field. And at the moment, for me, Bisgrove is not focusing enough on the product on the field. He's focusing too much on fannying around the edges on stuff that isn't as important. You know, for me, and I might be wrong here. I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm not saying I'm a genius on this, but for me, you've got to get right what's on the field first before you start fannying around with everything else around the outside of things. You know, with putting on the support experience, we're putting on the extra seats, we're putting on the best disabled facilities in Europe, we're putting on all that other stuff. You've got to get right the product on the field. You need a world-class product on the field to sell, to get the people through the door for everything else. And to me, the board are kind of going about it. James Bisgrove is kind of going about it the wrong way. He's going for the off-the-field stuff first rather than the on-the-field stuff. I mean, that's just an observation. You might think I'm wrong. Please feel free to disagree. But that's where I think we're up to at the moment. I think Bisgrove needs to come out and be a bit more, like I said, a bit more mouth and a little less flap, 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 flap. And look, I know I'm probably sacrificing my chance of ever getting media access to the club here by criticising James Bisgrove because the board don't like anyone who criticises them. I understand that. But as a fan, it's our right. It's our club. It's not their club. It's our club at the end of the day. And as a fan, you have the right to critically question what your board are doing and critically question what your team are doing and your manager are doing. If you just sit there and go, yay, everything's great, woohoo, then you're not a fan. Well, you are a fan, but you're not a great. You're accentuating the negative. You're accentuating failure. And you know, if you want to sit for the next 10 years behind that lot in second place and become Borussia Dortmund to their Bayern Munich, then that is absolutely fine. But we need an on the field product that is as good as the off the field product for me. So you know, look at the end of the day, that is where we're up to. So you know, that's just my thoughts, my feelings at this moment in time. So obviously today we go up against Hertha Berlin, 3:00 kickoff. I must say I was having a little flick through the old Hertha Berlin stats and looking at their games. Haven't heard of many of their players. Their last game in Germany, they had a team. They played a 4-2-3-1 like we do. Ernst in goal, Kenny at right back. That's the guy from South Park. Leshnek, Martin Kempfer, I've heard of, a veteran. Karbanik, Dardai, I've heard of him. Clemens, Winkler, Nieder, Lechner. Sorry, I'm massacring these names. Schernat and some guy called Prejovic up front. Like I said, never really heard of any of their players. So not a lot of household names in their team. They had a friendly on Wednesday, so obviously they've had a bit more game experience recently. They lost 3-0 to Mechelen, who are a Belgian team. They currently sit 7th in the second Bundesliga 2. Behind Holsten Kiel, who are top of the league. FC St. Pauli are second. Hamburger, our good friends, are third. Dusseldorf fourth. Firth fifth. That's not easy to say, is it? Fifth? That's like 5-5, 4-4, isn't it? Paderborn sixth and Hertha sits seventh, just above Hanover in 8th place. Their last 5 league games in Germany, they have drawn 3 and lost 2, so are fairly unbeaten in those games. You know, like I said, I haven't really heard of a lot of their players, but it is a decent test. It's a test for the team. It's a good opportunity to look at what we've got. They're managed by a guy called Pal Dardai. I must say again, I've never heard of him. The player I've never ever heard of, or manager I've never ever heard of. Let's have a look at his background. He's obviously worked his way up apparently through the Hertha Berlin system. So he's Hungarian. He played all his career in Hungary and Germany. He spent a long time. He's a veteran player for Hertha, played through them between 97 and 2011, making 297 appearances, scoring 17 goals. He was a defensive midfield player. So is that any kind of clue as to how they'll play today? But I think for me, what's going to be interesting today to watch is, number one, has there been any sort of differences and changes in style in the way we play? Has Clement pushed across any more of his ideas? Also, looking at who is back and who is playing, how we start, and the changes that we make. Look, it's going to be a game where we change the team substantially. Whether it's a complete change at half time, I don't know. Whether Robin McCrory will get minutes, again, I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see how Nicholas Raskin plays. Obviously, he came back against Kilmarnock. I think Raskin could have a huge impact in the second half of the season. I like Nicholas Raskin. I think he's a good player. I think, with the right management, played in the right position, he can have a huge effect. I think Raskin has been misused kind of in recent games. He's not a 6, he's more an 8. I think trying to play him as a 6 curtails his ability to get forward. I think he can go box to box. I think his passing range is good, if he's given the opportunity to do that. And I'm hoping that Philippe Clement can get that out of him. It's interesting as well, going to be see if Lawrence and Cifuentes and Jack, do they play any part today? or even do they play any part on Tuesday against Copenhagen? That game also will be here live on the channel. So look, it's going to be interesting to see who is back, how they play, are they any close to match fitness, and some of those players as well that have perhaps missed out on getting game time recently. The Matondos, for example, who are coming back from injury. How has their fitness progressed? What are they looking like into this game? One of the big things for me as well today is going to be, I think, how is Fabio Silva used? I'm hoping that we get to see Silva from the start. I'm hoping that we get to see Fabio go for it and really see what this lad has got. I don't think he's an out-and-out 9. That's what I'm reading. That's what I've heard from Wolves fans, that he's not an out-and-out 9. So look, it'll be interesting to see for me what we do with Silva, how he's used. Is he going to be used to replace Seema? Because obviously Seema's missing until February. So is it going to be the case we're stuck with Cyril Dessers up front again today, and Silva comes from the left? Or is he going to put Silva up front and perhaps, Matondo comes from the left? Where are we up to with that? There's going to be some interesting questions that hopefully will be answered this afternoon in this behind closed doors friendly game, which is a very weird atmosphere, I'm sure. And then obviously again on Tuesday against Copenhagen at Ibrox, how will that line? How will we line up? How will we play? I don't think that'll tell a lot against ahead of the Dumbarton game on the 20th. That obviously will be a much changed team again. Also today, I'm really interested to see, do some of the young players get an opportunity to play? McKinnon, Rice, Lyle. Do we get a chance to see some of those guys out there today? And what effect and impact can they have? Obviously, we're not going to see Zach Lovelace. He's not back till mid-January. I'm excited to see young Zach back. I know there's been some worrying rumours surrounding him wanting to go home. But, he for me, is a player that's under contract. If we can keep him, can get the best out of him, I think he's someone that can have a real impact for us going forward for the rest of this season, particularly if we do fail to strengthen to a sufficient level in this January transfer window, which I know is a tough window. I get that, 100% understand that. It'll be an interesting game today to watch. I think we'll win the game. I think we'll win 2 or 3-1. I think I'm going to go 3-1 to Rangers. I do think that, like I said, it'll be a strange game today. It'll be a strange atmosphere, obviously behind closed doors, but it's not as good. The club are putting the game on free on YouTube. It's good the fans get to see it. And like I said, lots of interesting questions to be answered today. As well, if Tom Lawrence is back, is he used in the 10 role, or is he used in that role where he's sat in front of the back 4 next to Lunny or Jack, or if he's back, or Raskin? How is he going to be used? Also, as well, we look at, I think, where is if obviously I think Bourne will probably play left back, because I don't think we'll see Ridvan today, given the fact that Hellas Verona move is close. Who can sub for Bournemouth at left back? If our plan is Bournemouth as our starting left back for the rest of the season, we've got problems. Where we're going to see Leon King at centre half. Get to see what he can do there. This is a good game to experiment for Philippe Clement. Of course it is. Kieran Dowell apparently now is in Spain. Don't know what was the situation with him. Apparently it was a personal issue, but that's a lot of what you do say when players have been doing other things. So look, is he going to be used? How is he going to be used? Like I said, a lot of interesting questions to be answered this afternoon. Be interesting to see if Rangers put a team sheet out before the game on their social media, or if it's just a case of, you wait till kickoff to see how Rangers are going to play. Well, guys, let me know what you think about today's game, and obviously what my thoughts on the board at this moment in time, and your thoughts on the board at this moment in time going forward. Thanks again for watching, guys. If you could smash that sub, that'd be absolutely fantastic. And as always, guys, on the way out, if you could smash the like, and also for me as well, remember always, we are the people.